going to do something a little bit different this time. We're actually going to head into 101 Collins Street to see an exhibition by Lynn Plummer. Just come into this impressive building here. Don't you just love these revolving doors? You could go around and around all day long. Oops, almost. Quite an impressive building here, and it pretty much says about the exhibition that we're going to see, and hopefully we'll meet the artist. I'm a little late actually. The opening was a few days ago, so let's just go see. The only problem with these big buildings is you've got to try and find the place, and I think one could get quite lost in here. I feel like I'm in a Greek Colosseum. Here we go. The thing is, the exhibition's actually closed at the moment, so everybody's gone home. Could be a bit eerie. So we'll just see if she's in there. Door's open, we're in luck. Oh, well there we have Lynn's name on the wall. And we'll go have a look at some of the artworks before we meet her. It's very eerie in here, and it's very lonely in here because it's actually closed. But you've fortunately allowed me to be in here to see your exhibition. And how long have you been working on this?
For the last 6 months or so. I did actually start some of the works earlier than that, but solidly for the last 6 months, every night and every weekend.
So what inspires you to start a collection such as this?
Well, I've been working on this concept now, looking at ceremony and the relationship between ceremony and instinct since about mid-80s. Yeah. And
what must go on in your mind here? Enlighten us all.
Well, this particular exhibition is looking at how the people that have been involved in the decoration of the garments for high ceremony have not had a voice. There's a language that's been built up through the way that they've made the works, the way they've worked with the lace and the way they've worked with the embroidery. I'm also using the idea, which you can see on the chasuble down there, of the garments of high ceremony being a metaphor for skin, and that skin is memory. And so you could say it's slightly akin to tattooing.
You've used a lot of almost flesh-like textures in some of these things, which are quite you don't really want to touch them. They look wet still, and you've got wet hair in between them and things like that. What makes you create these artworks?
Well, over a long period of time I've been, considering this idea of skin as memory, and I lived in New Guinea for quite a while, and so I had that contact with sacrifice, with tattooing, scarification as part of your place in the society. So I'm really quite interested in the empowered initiates in ceremonies and the unempowered initiates.
Does it become an obsession at a point?
Oh, I think it's quite obsessive sort of work.
Now you've got a piece here behind me now, and it looks like something that you wouldn't really want to stand too close to or near enough touch. Would you encourage people to touch your artwork, or is that a taboo?
With this show, it's probably a little bit more difficult, but I have actually told the guards in other shows, like at the Queensland Art Gallery, not to stop people from touching the wood.
Do you think most people's reaction is quite shocked? Because you're also mixing the religion factor in there as well with, of course, your art piece, the Modona.
Yes, yes.
What are you trying to do? Shaking up the world here.
Yes, well, I am trying to challenge the viewer, and I'm actually looking at the three works that have got the women in, or images of the women, that shows women as they're stereotyped. And then the other ones actually bring in the idea of sacrifice, the idea of sexuality and sensuality into the notion of ceremony and ritual. That they're part of it. There's a ceremony that's like this, and there's an underbelly ceremony that's always been keeping the people. Sometimes I have nicknames for them.
What's the nickname for this one?
That's tarred and feathered.
Tarred and feathered. I wonder why. 'Cause, you've actually used the feathers.
Yes.
And pins as well.
Yes. So they're actually embroidery pins. So anybody who was involved in that, or quilting pins involved in that process, would know that. But they also, that's the way they pin you open when they're operating on you.
Okay, and what are the leads trying to...
So we're looking at thread as the line, and thread as becoming making a sign, like writing. And also threads can be quite like sinews and veins in your body.
Which they look like.
So they're metamorphosing from thread to bodily pieces.
We're now joined by Diana, and what's your role with the gallery?
I'm a curator-director of this gallery, and the gallery represents a number of artists, and I aim to show a range of contemporary art practice with a diversity and a pretty spontaneous and spectacular exhibition year. And part of this visual arts that I show has cutting-edge work, as Lynn Plummer's exhibition is shows.
How do you find these people? They come to you, or...?
Yes, I'm lucky enough to have the gallery sought out as an exhibition venue and for representation. And I'm very pleased to represent a range of exciting, emerging mid-career artists.
And how many exhibitions do you have a year?
It varies, probably between 12 to 17 exhibitions. Sometimes the space is broken up into two, where I show two different artists at the same time, that I usually select it so that both artists' work is available to the general public and to academics and so on, so that it provides a lot of energy.
What do you think of the artwork today?
Pretty amazing. When you say...
You've probably seen it all.
I have, yes. It's a range of quite interesting works. Lynn actually and Rodney Brown had and the sound was worked out specifically for the site, and I think it's utilised the gallery's flexibility to the utmost.
Fantastic. So we'll probably pop in if you are ever in town, 101 Collins Street. Come down and check out an exhibition here. I'm sure you'd be glad to greet everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, this one here and one on the other side of the gallery have illuminated manuscript type lettering under there. So you can actually sort of trace through that idea of the churches and the state's edicts that come through their ceremonies. And then on top of that, you've got this other messages that are going on, but it's all sort of flesh as well.
Do you think the church holds you in favour of this or against you in this?
What I want people to do is actually question the sorts of things that we've accepted. So I'm sort of unpackaging it in a way and sort of saying, let's deconstruct this and let's see what it makes up. And are we accepting things without thinking?
There you have it. Oh, they're almost famous last words there. The controversy, another one as well, which looks quite wet and sticky. I mean, How do we, I mean, I'm shocked. Some people are. I'm sure they're watching now going, oh my God, what are you going to work on next?
Well, the thing is that you're just standing there then, and I think that your head was shaped inside the shape of the
Well, that's
mitre.
how it all started, didn't it? I actually pushed through one of these originally, but you know,
That's right. But
the full birth factor.
this is also the bishop's mitre, so it's the shape. It's like a bishop's mitre as well.
Don't ever have an exhibition in Rome, you'll be seriously in trouble. Obviously you're going to be doing other exhibitions.
Yes, I've got a piece going in a show called Wedlock, which is going to be on at a gallery in Toowoomba at University of Southern Queensland, and that's going to be looking at the philosophy of weddings, and yes, it's quite an interesting piece, and I'm looking at the wedding gown in that one, and so it'll be a long draped piece, and it has writing that you can read on that one, which I took straight out of the...
So you finish one and you jump to another. Where do you get the time to do all this? Because you also study and lecture in between and everything else.
Yes, well, it's getting a little bit... it is difficult. I'm head of painting at Otago School of Art, and they're obsessed, and you want to say something, well, you find the time.
Yeah, when you spare time, if you've got nothing better to do, you can create one of these. It only takes about, what, this one took...
150 hours.
Only 150 hours, there you go.
That's just the making, not the rest of it.
I mean, this one, obviously, you've used little opal beads and everything here.
All glass beads, the whole thing is, except for the faces, which are writing again, or simulated writing, and that's done with
this
lacquer.
is incredible. I mean,
thank you.
if you have a close-up look at just the detail in that alone, I mean, that's pretty painstaking.
Yes, yeah.
You're probably glad that it's actually a little one.
I was when I was working on it.
Do you do like one piece at a time, or you do
No.
several?
I actually work on all of them.
I'm Jacqueline Sheilds, and today we're talking about your future, that's right, and of course your future in the palm of your hand. And I'm joined by a man who can basically tell us what's contained in our palm. That's Peter Pifko. How are you?
I'm fine, Jackie. I've been doing it for nearly 20 years. I'm talking about astrology and Palmisty for more than 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we've got some very pointed questions to ask you. Now you're quite multi-skilled actually. Astrology, palmistry, tarot and pranic healing.
Like Reiki.
Yeah. So when you look at someone's hand, what do you see?
Well, depending, I can see the color, the shape of the hand. What I see is like a focus on personality, on the weakness and the strength, and I think how I can use it to motivate a person to achieve a goal. If a person is strong and committed, then it's much easier. But if
I'm just wondering actually, you can read people's palms.
Yeah.
What about animals?
Not yet.
Do you read the right hand or the left hand?
I read both. Because I correlate. If the left and right are have the same shapes and the same things, that usually tells me that the person hasn't achieved much in life on his or her own. The person is dependent on his family or background. Whereas a person who has different amounts and different shapes in both hands, that person has developed a little bit.
What about because of course reading palms is all about the lines on the hand.
Not the lines, the fingers, the mounts, the fingers. Like I'm looking at your Mount of Venus, and it's very prominent. So that tells me that you are very passionate, dynamic. And because one of the ends here goes away, that's a travel line. So you like to travel, you like to travel overseas, and you've got lots of energy, and you're very also receptive to other people. So I can say that. And on the top of this is a good rhythm.
This knuckle bit happening.
Yeah,
here.
this knuckle, that you may be musical, but you really like music and art. So that tells me something about your personality, and how much energy you have, and how much power you have to finish what you started.
So it's not just the lines of the hand that's important.
No.
So Peter, I've actually been approached by a few losers recently with regard to, relationships, and I haven't accepted any of them. And I'm just wondering, when am I going to find the man of my dreams?
It's not easy because you've got special lines of disappointment. So this is your
Oh,
line, and the lines crossing.
that's disappointing.
Not disappointing. It means that life is not easy sometimes. But the card line is also slightly broken, so it's also
Broken heart.
little bit of broken heart as well. But then the line overlaps, so don't worry. There is a possibility for you.
Just around the corner. A slim chance? What is that possibility? That sounds a bit dicey, a bit not possible. Is it more?
Hands, actually, I must say.
No, you also have few lines of union that tell me that love is important for you.
Very.
To share your love and happiness.
Give me high five. Give me my future. My lines are pretty dominant, aren't they? I always thought I had a really good palm.
Yes.
Minus the calluses.
Yeah, you have a very strong determination, and your thumb is very strong. So that means you're very logical, and you want to be in charge. At work, you need more responsibilities, but also more power with that combination. But it's a little bit open here, so you're also generous and helpful. You're not narrow-minded.
But how do you know it's open? By the flexibility, or
flexibility of the top, because this is your will.
Yeah.
And with this open like that, you give and receive everything. You're not just taker with this combination.
Always a giver.
And at the beginning of your life, you were very sensitive and close to your family and shy. Later on, the line breaks away a little bit. What's your age right now?
32. No, you tell me.
No, 32. Oh, see, your line of destiny is still strong, but it's another one started. So somehow, big changes in your
Because there's a gap.
Yeah, because there is a gap. So the changes, but there is no danger because they're overlapping. The line of destiny tells me about your motivation to achieve success in life. And
So I've got a window period here that I can do anything I want.
now you've already started doing good stuff. So the special
okay.
line, this is special line here, adds and supports your
that's
development.
age.
Yeah. You've got lots of lines here, so you dream about travel. And you see all those lines here, there's a great imagination. So because of that, you need to work somewhere. I've got the same amount.
Could I use moisturizer?
Pardon?
Could I use a little bit of moisturizer and get rid of that, or not?
No, don't worry about it.
No?
This mount here makes you slightly, highly imaginative and receptive. So
Palm reading has got a long history. It goes way back. So where did it start from?
it started probably in ancient Greece, but before that it was present in ancient India or Tibet or China. So when you think about it, you will see that there are lots of different systems. However, only they were focusing on science, special science, and because of that they used to make mistakes because they were not looking at at the whole hand, and they were not researching it. Whereas right now people can see it and correct their mistakes, and it was more up to date. So
How do you mean? So you say that modern technology has assisted us to read palms?
Yes. Some doctors, some psychologists, some doctors read palms as well.
What does it mean? Now we're going to find out the basics, what you need to know to look at your own palm to tell your own destiny. Now he's going to draw some lines on me and pick out some of the main features here.
Well, starting from here, that's your heart line. So this tells me about how much love you have, and if you need a long-term relationship or short one. If you're receptive in love, or you're just interested in work.
So the longer the line, the better, or?
No, if the line is long and deep, that means love is important, and you can be an artist as well. Sexual,
You have to get them into bed first.
Yeah, but this tells me about your sexual energy, because this is your Venus and Mars together, and lifeline. It's quite wide, so it means your libido is very strong.
My libido is very strong. That's just the calluses on that, actually.
No.
This is, the more plumper it is, the better the sex drive, or?
Yes, it has to be strong and not too soft. If it's very soft, that means you are an orphan victim and a dreamer. You cannot you can start a business, but you cannot finish it. And in your case, it's quite tough. So it means you're dynamic, proactive, and sexually, and in many different ways.
Peter, have you ever used your knowledge for your own benefit as far as making sure that... Have you met the person of your dreams through reading their palm? Or is that dangerous?
Not so much, no. What I can say, I can quickly know that someone doesn't fit. No.
That's one of the perks of your ability, isn't it, really?
Yes, it is. But it doesn't solve my problems because I have to work on myself. So to really improve your lifestyle and love life, you need to change some pattern, you know? You need to realize that what you're doing you are in charge of it. And then if you change it, the special lines of effort can grow. That means that you, instead of being narrow-minded and a victim, you become, more open-minded.
There's stress lines on the thumb and the top of the fingers, which have got little cracks everywhere.
Yeah.
Isn't it just age or not?
They may disappear. They will disappear later if you take care of your health or if you change a job. Or someone. So this is okay. That's I'm just telling you that some of those things may actually go away and disappear.
Fantastic.
You change your attitude, and that's.
So I can get rid of those little creases above on the top. This is the headline, and this tells us when it works.
Thinking.
Thinking.
Your thinking processes.
I'm a dreamer.
Yes, you are, because it goes here. But you have a different. You see, if we look into your hands. You have a different, there are some slight differences between your hands. So that means that you've changed something in your destiny. You're not.
Many career changes.
Yeah. So that's very good. And because the line is, goes on an angle like this, that gives imagination. This is the amount of imagination and intuition. And you're drawing lots of ideas for your art, for your work.
Our TV show, yeah.
From that mount.
Fantastic.
This mount is your dreamer part.
Well, that one's almost going off the palm completely.
It's very strong, so that's why you've got artistic talents. People who don't have that, they cannot imagine.
It might be in your hand, but you can change your destiny.
You can change your destiny, yeah. It's very difficult for those people because they are caught in it and they don't have time to relax, to get back into their own personality and become more resilient. Whereas if they stop it for a while and start reflecting on it, they may change it.
Have you ever read anybody's palm and you've thought, oh my God, this person's a complete loser?
Yeah, but I cannot tell this to a person. I have to break it nicely.
You say, oh my God, this person's got no motivation, they're lazy, they've got no luck of finding anyone in their life. How do you put it? What's a tactful way of doing that?
90% of people that they may have that problem. So
90%?
90%. So only, not necessarily, but what I'm saying is that only 10% of people do something like you doing, something that they like doing, and they feel passion for it. So do you understand what I mean? Could be like a passionate artist, passionate musician,
Nobody
anything.
uses the talent.
Yeah. So using your talent in the right direction. I can see that you are passionate about whatever you're doing, and that's why what you're doing comes across as funny, easy, and lively. So
what?
Yeah, we're actually getting to the end of the show.
Oh, really? No, you knew that, didn't you, Peter?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Now, have you got any tips for anybody out there with regard to should they get their palm read, should they get their astrology chart read, should they get their tarot cards read? I mean, there's so many ways to get your future told, and we're all still searching. So what's the best way?
The best way is go by word of mouth.
Tea leaves?
But whatever you do, go to a psychic fair or something, you can meet some good people there as well. So,
how do you know if someone's a psychic, whether they've actually got any skill or not, or whether they just got the gift of the gab?
I can, because I look at someone's hand and can see some development.
But the general public, how do we know?
Not being ripped off.
It's very difficult. You can go somewhere and believe me, the person can have everything set up. You go to a psychic fair and you see people and they dress very fancy. You go to them and they all they change.
So avoid people with crystal balls?
No, don't avoid. But I'm just saying, be discerning. If someone says that a person is good, then you have.
Word of mouth is always the best way.
The best way in many different ways. So that's why I get challenged. Some people come to me and don't tell me their age. They like, so I get challenged.
Okay, so it's another fabulous 15 minutes wrapped up. Bit of a high five from you, Steve. And yeah, all for one and one for all. That's the Three Musketeers. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.